We'll go back to the Zoom. Looks like we're live.
Hey.
I'm gonna wait for some folks to get in here. Let's go to the. Okay. We're going to. Let's see. Still working out these
some of the
kinks here, family, because I want to get to. We'll stop recording here.
Yeah, we don't need to record.
All right. How do we get to?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I am trying to get to this link. I had it last night.
Uh-oh.
What
link?
Oh, maybe if I go to more. No?
Good morning, Edward, Andrew, Sipo.
No. We don't want any more apps. I don't want any more apps.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man, I had it last night. And now I can't. Is this the right thing? This is, yeah. Wow.
Yes, we are on. We are on.
Yes, we are on.
Trying to figure. We're using something new this morning.
We're trying to use the. Well, ask them if they can hear us. Can they hear us?
Can you guys hear us? Okay. Hey. Someone says afternoon. Let us know if you can hear us, if you're having any trouble hearing us.
Trying to drop the link in the description.
Uh-oh.
And it would be.
I don't see any responses. I don't know if everyone can hear us.
Anyone can hear us?
Oh, they said yes. Yes,
okay.
yes. It's coming through.
Okay, family, look.
We just need to get it together.
We're trying to make it to where we can actually invite you guys to join the live and speak with us. I just have to try to figure out how to drop the link in the chat box here. But let's see. I think I may have figured it out. Let's see.
Got it.
Was that the same link?
We'll see.
Let me make sure. 1 second, family. I'm sorry. I guess we tried to work these technical difficulties out last night, and we didn't. I thought we worked it out, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Which was it? Which email did I send it to you? The email I sent you last night.
Oh, let's see. Send me an email. I've got 5 million email addresses. Let's see. Yeah, this 924-381.
No, that's it. Right.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Well, the one before that one. What's the one before that one? Because that's you two.
So there were 2 of them. That's the first one.
And
you did it again over, right?
Yeah, so that's
okay.
That's not it. Okay, because I don't want them to have trouble. Oh man, I really want this to work. Oh man. All right, family. We are coming. We are coming. Where
Hold
is it?
tight. Hold tight.
Oh man, where is it? I think it's here then.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Schedule, perhaps?
Not schedule. It would be like share the link. Last night I had it so easily. Oh, family, we're coming. We're coming. Please, 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 please be patient with us. Please be patient with us. All right, family, I got it. I got it. We on now. It's popping. I'm sorry it took so long, but I got it. All right, family, it's your brother Asad. All right, family. All right, family. All right, family. This is your brother Asad.
And I'm Adrienne.
And we are back again with another quick video. I just press record. We're back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new content on this channel. Also, in terms of housekeeping, we have to make sure that we show love and appreciation to our South African family for all the love that you guys have shown this channel and our family, our children, my wife, and it is truly special. I had a great conversation with a brother last night about South Africa and the people, and I explained to him that this love is not fake. It is not internet love. It's not social media love. It is what the philosophical musician Mary J. Blige called real love. Because it's real love when you need assistance, when we had a sister who's actually African American, but she lives in South Africa and she's been there for, I think, over a decade.
Yeah.
And that, and I'm sure she had that real love in her before, but she also exemplifies that real love that the South African people have, and just reached out to us and offered us words of encouragement and advice on moving to South Africa. So we really, really appreciate it. Now, today we got a little something new. If you want to participate in this conversation, now let me get back to it. If you want to participate in this conversation, family, we are live on YouTube as well as on Zoom.
And we're going to drop the link.
And we're going to drop the link in the chat. Here's what I'm going to do, Adrienne. I am going to send you the link.
Oh.
So that you can add it to the
I see.
To the live. Let me see.
Here we are. Okay. Send it.
I'm going to send it to you. I don't know how all of my stuff got closed out, but I am going to send it to you.
Okay. Also, today is our 13-year anniversary.
That's 13 years of marriage. Wow.
Yeah. On
that
today.
Is amazing. That is amazing.
What, that we've lasted this
that
long?
We lasted that
That's
long.
amazing.
Yeah, that is a long time.
It's not a long time. And it hasn't felt long.
No, it kind of felt like it sped by 13 years.
Right. You know?
All right.
So
all right.
13 years. There's been a lot accomplished in this little marriage of ours. A lot accomplished.
13 years, 2 children later.
Yep. 2 children, several home purchases and businesses, all kinds of stuff.
All right, family.
We are here. We are on.
We are on, and it's popping. All right. We're talking about our marriage. Adrienne is about to drop the link in the chat on YouTube so that you will be able to, if you guys want to come on and speak and talk, maybe wish us a happy anniversary. You know, I'm the how people yeah, come on, wish us a happy anniversary. No. But yeah, 13 years. Wow. 13 years, and our son will be now turning 12. We didn't waste any time. We jumped right on into having the babies and everything.
Did.
Bam, 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 just like that. Bam, bam,
All
bam.
these ceremonies and things like that, cultural ceremonies. You and I we just got married.
We got married. So if y'all want to know our love story, Adrienne and I met at university, or what you guys would call.
You didn't ask, but we're gonna tell you.
Yeah. What you guys would call varsity. Varsity. We met at university. I think I met her freshman year. And I think I was going into my junior year. No, I think I was in my sophomore year. Yeah, because you came spring semester, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in my sophomore year, and she still remembers the first time she saw me.
Okay.
That's what she told me. You didn't tell me that?
Yes.
Oh,
I
you want to?
No.
You want to act funny in front of people?
I'm not trying to act funny. The first time, but it's the first time I certainly remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And I remember the first time I saw her. I was talking to my friend Raphael and walking on the yard, and I knew then that we would be married.
You did.
I know I did. But I knew I liked her, and I knew I liked her. We became very, very, very good friends in undergrad. And then, you know, life is funny. Time and distance happened. You know, we grew.
Yeah.
We were not together, and like what, 4 or 5 years passed.
No, longer than that, I think.
2002.
7 years or so.
2002 to 2009, basically. Yeah. 7 years passed.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. 7 years passed, and there was like zero communication.
Right.
And then one day, a friend of mine saw Adrienne on campus, and he was like this is weird. Like, I moved on life. I purchased my first home, and we working. She had gone to move to Alabama. She was actually back down in New Orleans going to graduate school. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey, man, I'm on campus at our university. Like, you know, he's visiting our old university, seeing people." I was like, "Hey, I just ran into Adrienne." I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "She's on the Avenue of the Oaks." The Avenue of the Oaks was like a social media platform dedicated to individuals who went to our university. The Dillard University has a so the name of our university is Dillard University. You don't want to explain that?
No, I'm just it's a long version.
Yeah. So and they have these long walkways, excuse me, a long walkway with all these oak trees, right? So that's why it's called the Avenue of the Oaks. Mm-hmm. And so somebody made a social media platform, kind of like a Facebook type thing that was just for Dillard University students. So my frat brother, he's like, "Hey, man, she's on the Avenue of the Oaks." I just saw her at Dillard, man. She's on the Avenue of the Oaks. I reached out to her, and where were you at that time when I reached out?
I was in Mali. I was in West Africa.
By the time I actually reached out to her, she was in Mali, West Africa.
Mm-hmm. For quite the summer.
And we started communicating. And when she arrived back in New Orleans, I think 6 months later, we were married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was that quick.
Bam, bam, bam. Just like that. Just like that. 6 months later, we were married. No, did we have a wedding ceremony? Like a big thing? No, we didn't.
No.
We lied to each other and said we're just going to go ahead and get married. And we went to the Justice of the Peace and did the legal part of it. And we'll do the big ceremony later. We'll do that after a year, after we save up some money. And with next thing you know, we were pregnant. We bought a house. And then we were like, well, maybe for our 10-year anniversary, we'll do something big. 10 years rolled around. We was like, man,
We
who
went to
cares?
Colombia.
Yeah, we did. We went to Colombia. Yeah.
It's gonna do us.
Yeah, nobody cares that y'all married anymore.
It's been 10 years. Oh yeah.
So
But yeah, 13 years later, here we are.
so the day we'll be going
strong.
out, get us something to eat and celebrate our anniversary. And
Such
as
a
I always
special-
tell you, you know, you are my best friend.
Oh, of course.
Nobody.
And listen, you know, we've been married 13 years now, so I think we can give a couple of pointers in this marriage thing. Don't you think?
I guess. It'd be the Negroes that get a pointers that be end up divorced in 3 years. Like, wait, I thought y'all was perfect.
I know.
I'm not giving nobody no advice. Do y'all?
Good luck.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. He was married 20 years, 25 years. So we're getting divorced. What?
Mm-mm.
For what?
I'm keeping my marriage secrets to myself.
I'm saying. I'll tell y'all like I told one of my good friends. Marry your friend. Marry someone that is really your friend.
Yeah.
Because when all the hot, steamy stuff wanes.
I'm on high steamy relations. Y'all know, see, that's a New Orleans thing. I'm on high steamy relations. Oh, I wish I could give you that feeling. Man, I wish I could give you that feeling. Let's go to the old comments here in the old book of YouTube.
Right. Don't look at the face.
All right. Let me see.
So, yeah. So a lot of congratulations. Let me see. Did the same thing. Algiers courthouse 32 years ago. Yep. Algiers.
We went to Gretna. Who's talking about the Algiers courthouse?
Dr. James Bennett.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The parallels are crazy.
Yeah, doctor, and then his wife. Oh no, that's loud. All right, let's read some of these old comments.
Congrats.
Thank you guys. You did the same thing. I see him right there. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of comments we didn't miss. Gee,
yeah, well, you know, you can't.
Well, look, y'all. If y'all want to jump on,
I did. I placed it in there a couple times.
Okay.
Link to join us in this conversation.
If anybody wants to join in this conversation, I think there's a way. Yeah, no, ain't nobody joined in, but that's fine. That's fine. So this week we had some very phenomenal guests. We had some very phenomenal guests.
Cool people this week.
Jabari Lamb, this young brother. If you guys have not seen that interview, please go and watch this young brother's interview. He is a African-American college student at the University of North Carolina A&T, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. And he spent a semester or a year, I believe, in Johannesburg at the University of Johannesburg studying as an exchange student. But even before that, this brother just has a phenomenal story. He is Gullah Geechee. And for those who have not seen the video, he explains what Gullah Geechee is. And it is a part, these are it's an ethnic group. It's not even an ethnic group. They are African Americans, right? But they live off the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, down into almost the Florida area. And they were kind of, some say they like ran away and founded these little islands. Others say because of where they were located on these different plantations, they were away from the mainland, and the masters really didn't have that much, like a strict control over them. So because of that, they maintained a lot of their West African traditions, even some of the language these Gullah Geechee people have. In fact, Gullah means, as he explained it could mean Angola, right? But so they and when I tell people this, I say, New Orleanians are the most African people outside of, in the United States, outside of the Gullah Geechee. And if you notice these West African connections, the Gullah Geechee have in their cuisine, they have a gumbo, they have a jambalaya, both rooted from the West African cuisines. But anyway, they are actually even more, because when you hear their accents, their accents have evolved into a very strong Caribbean sounding accent. It's very unique. This is a very unique group of people. And when I say that, people often, when we discuss about being Africans, there's questions about, are Black people African? My answer to that question is the Harlem Renaissance scholar Alan Locke defined us as a new Negro. We don't use the word Negro anymore to define ourselves, but we are a new African on the planet Earth. And this new African is embodied in the Gullah Geechee people. This combination, this coming together of the East and the West can be found right there with the Gullah Geechee people. And they are like the basis. They're like the base of, last night you talked about avocado is a good base for when you want to make it. And so they are the base for what the African American eventually became, right? Under all of the other African American communities, the Gullah Geechee are like the original African American, that original combination that comes there. So, but anyway, the brother Justin Lamb interview was phenomenal. He went on to talk about his knowledge of Liberia and his interest in Liberia, and Liberia being an African American nation founded on the continent, an African American nation founded on the continent. And then he talked about his experience in Johannesburg and his desire to return after he finishes his is it civil engineering degree, if I'm not mistaken. But the brother is he is, what I thought? He's 20, maybe 21-year-old African American brother. We are so impressed with him because we don't see enough of him.
Yeah.
We don't see enough of this type of representation in our media, on the news, in videos or in movies or whatever have you, right? And what I'm saying is like, well, he is uniquely intelligent. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but we have Black universities filled with Jabaris. We have a whole system of historically Black colleges and universities filled with intelligent young Black men and women that we never see on the news, because they are always showing some Negro with his pants falling off his behind, talking about drugs and sex and violence, right? That is the image that they show of Black Americans, when we have literally thousands of Jabaris, hundreds of thousands of Jabaris attending universities, and not only historically Black colleges and universities, but majority white institutions also throughout this nation that are never shown, right? That is the character assassination that has taken place of Black people in the United States, that all folks see of us is Cardi B, Lil Wayne, and individuals who I love. Now, I don't disparage those people.
It's just too one-sided.
It's too one-sided.
It's not a balance.
Right. It's not balanced.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick, because if every time I drop this link in here, it disappears. I don't know if YouTube is like, no. It's blocking it. But for me, it's not sticking. I've put it in there about 5 times, and I'm looking now, and it is not there.
Well, let me see if I can. Maybe
you can. I don't know. It's
maybe I can. Let me see.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you on the roll about Jabari? You really were.
Yeah. Let me see. What did it come from? What the email address did I send it to? Did it come from when I sent it? Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Boom. Let me see if I can put it in the old chat. Let me see if I can put it in the chat.
Interesting.
There it is. It stayed. Boom. All right. If you guys are interested in jumping on, I just posted it in the chat.
So hopefully it stays. It was showing for a second, but then when I looked back, it was gone. So I think it was the YouTube thing not allowing me to drop it, but you did. So yeah, you must have to be the host.
Oh, okay.
You must have to be the host.
Well, I dropped the link.
We learned something new.
We're trying this new way of trying to make this as interactive as possible, because we want to reach everyday people, and we really do appreciate the love and support our South African family shows us. Jabari,
but you said thousands of Jabari. We need more balance and representation, and we need to see more Jabaris. Basically,
we need to see more Jabaris. Oh, there we go. We got somebody jumping in. Yes, all right.
Yes.
Boom! Somebody jumped in. This is like, that's who's that? Just said Josh.
Jonah.
Oh, Jonah. You know, brother can't read.
Oh man.
Let me see.
Jonah, how are you?
He got to wait till his audio connects. Jonah, can you hear us?
Hello, hi. Yes, I can hear you.
What's going on, Jonah?
I can't complain. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. We're doing great, man. Jonah, you look like somebody I know, brother.
No, right? Brother? Familiar?
Jonah, you look like somebody I know, man. You look like a brother I see. Man, who you look like, Jonah? Well, David, I see you in the waiting room. We're gonna let you in.
Is he as handsome?
Huh?
Is he as good looking?
Yeah, he's absolutely gorgeous. Drop dead.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, yeah.
That's you.
That is so good.
Yeah, man. So what are you calling from? South Africa?
No. Right now I'm in England, but I'm South African. Yeah, I'm in England doing research. I'm a doctoral student.
Oh, okay.
From Pretoria.
Oh, okay. What's your research centering on?
Pardon, sorry?
What is your research about? What are you researching?
Social media. I'm exploring the notion of participation and how social media discourages participation.
Huh. That is very interesting.
Wow. Man, I read a very interesting article recently that is examining social media and suicide rates, not suicide rates, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation is what it was called. And how it has increased. It's like a direct correlation between the rise of social media and the rise of these suicidal ideation, even though the vast majority of people who have ideation never commit suicide, but these thoughts are rising. All right, let me see. I'm going to let one more person in because I think they go away after a while, right?
Or they hang up.
They hang up, yeah. So yeah, that sounds like very interesting research, brother. I can't wait to.
I just want to add on that, like actually the research that's coming out of Italy after the pandemic shows that actually the reverse is actually true as well.
Wow!
Because of the social isolation and that has happened. A lot of people found solace in on the social media interactions with families and all that. Oh,
wow. And now that is interesting.
Yeah, so it's how should I say this? Like a catch-22 kind of situation where we are in. But it is true, especially amongst young people, who are generally impressionable. There's like an increase in mental health problems, because of the way they use social media and how they interact with the platforms.
Yeah.
Jonah, I actually have a question. So you've gone to England for graduate studies. Do you plan to return to South Africa? What are your plans? Because a lot of Africans leave to head to the West for opportunities for education. Do you plan to return, or do you think England will be home?
All I want is where I'll find work. I want to teach, so I just want to find work. Wherever I find work, I'll settle. But yes, I plan to return. That's the plan. But also, I also want to find somewhere where I'll be paid. Something that will allow me to,
Yeah.
But definitely. I have a question. I have a few questions for you guys.
Go ahead. Shoot.
You know, like when growing up, you know, when I used to listen to rap, hip hop, and all that, we always had this idea of the American culture being centered around music. You know, yeah. So, what's your how true is that? I mean, what's the influence of musicality, to the way the American? I mean, maybe should I let's zoom into New Orleans. I don't know how you say it, but New Orleans culture.
So you're absolutely wonderful question, brother. Wonderful question. So let's take it first from New Orleans is older, so we're gonna take it from New Orleans culture. Music is very important to our culture here in New Orleans, you know, the birthplace of jazz. But interesting, when you initially asked the first question, I thought of Isabel Wilkerson's cast, right? Mm-hmm. So just yesterday, I was watching Dr. Michael Eric Dyson on an interview, and he mentioned that on the slave ships, slaves were horribly treated, right? But they were also allowed to sing. They were also allowed to dance as a form of recreation to keep them in physical shape, to keep their bodies from deteriorating on this long journey. Let me admit here. Mm-hmm. So in Isabel Wilkerson's book, Caste, she identifies certain things that slaves were allowed to do, and entertainment was one of those things. So singing and dancing, creating music, that type of entertainment was encouraged. You know, the slave master would sit back and say, "Dance, Negro, you know, dance for us, sing for us," right? Mm-hmm. Those learning, reading, writing, not encouraged. So forbidden, right? Yeah. Illegal. So when you ask, is it important in African-American culture? It was seen as a way of lifting ourselves out of poverty. The next closest association is sports, right? Sports and play. Yeah. It was seen as lifting ourselves out of poverty. So yes, music becomes a phenomenal, a very important part of culture. Right. And because we do not control the music industry, Brother Jay, I'm gonna mute you right quick if you don't mind. Because we don't control the music industry, what happens is those who seek to destroy us, those who seek to disparage us, then control what type of music, not what type of music we create, because we create all types of music, but the type of music that is marketed and mass produced to the country and to the rest of the world. Yeah. So you have Jill Scott's, and you have Erykah Badu's, and you have Lauryn Hill's, right? At one point, but now you see no longer those people. You have Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and the City Girls. You follow? So we and as we mentioned before, there's no balance. So you know, here's an interesting tidbit. Do you guys remember Arrested Development? Arrested Development had a song called Tennessee. It was they were a hip hop group from the US. They won 4 or 5 Grammys. They were literally huge. They had a song called Tennessee, Mr. Wendell. They even had a song called Everyday People. Yeah. And they came out the same year as Dr. Dre's The Chronic. They outsold Dr. Dre's The Chronic. The Chronic album that introduced the world to Snoop Dogg. The Chronic album that introduced the world to introduce a whole new generation to smoking marijuana. The Chronic. They outsold The Chronic. However, their next album, no one bought. Why? Because gangster rap became the preferable genre of hip hop. Not that we didn't have a taste for Arrested Development. Obviously we did. We bought millions of their albums. They had number one hits on the radio. But they moved those people out because they were conscious. They were speaking of you know, Black liberation. They had a song called Mama Africa. All this stuff. They moved those people out of mainstream out of the mainstream and replaced it with gangster rap. And then for the next 20 years, everything you hear from hip hop became murder, violence, drug dealing, and that became subliminally. We start thinking this is our culture. We have the oh man, that was a phenomenal question because we can get into how when we were growing up in the 80s and the 90s, Bill Cosby and the different world, right? The HBCUs, that was the mass marketed idea of Black culture, right? So when you growing up and you every Thursday night you're watching Dwayne Wayne and Whitley on a different world, and you said, I want to go to a Black college. Do you know that Black college enrollment tripled when A Different World was on the air? The number of students at historically Black colleges and universities tripled, according to Debbie Allen, when A Different World was on the air. Black children were not seeking to be gangsters. They were seeking to be engineers like Dwayne Wayne. So yes, entertainment and music and stuff plays a very important role. Yeah. I took the long route to say yes.
James.
Brother James.
Yes.
Dr. James, I'm sorry, that's Dr. James.
His brother, man.
Yeah. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
What's happening, man?
Man, I'm just making it, brother, man. How's everything in Memphis? Are y'all in Memphis now?
Yeah, we're in Memphis. It's all right. It's been pretty chilly past few days.
It has been.
Yeah, it's been cold, man. So what's popping though, man? Y'all ready? Y'all coming back in March or y'all in June?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait till March. We're going to be there from March 9th through the 17th.
Definitely. We'll be there the 12th through the 19th? 20th. Yeah. I'm sorry, Brother Jay. Wait, Jonah, you said you had two questions? Or did I go? I'm sorry, Brother Doc.
Go ahead.
Well, the second will be a follow-up on just the first one. Yeah.
All right.
Hello, Brother James or Dr. James.
Hey,
with Jonah, let's ask Brother, because this is Dr. James also, and he is a DJ. Yes, that's right. He is a doctor, and he is a DJ. So this may be a question that he can answer too.
Is he like a medical doctor or what's his field of study?
Brother James?
I'm a dentist.
Oh, all right. That's good. That's good. Like my follow-up question would still build on that. It's like I was wondering whether because I would find it a bit strange if the music culture in America would have been homogeneous. I would assume that hip hop. I don't know, from history we were told is a New York kind of it's brought out of New York. Mm-hmm. So the other before the hip hop culture, for example, came to your area, like in New Orleans, what did you listen to, and what did they listen to, and how did that impact society? Or what you're actually referring to right now is just the what happened is what is happening was the result of the influence of hip hop, period, but nothing else.
No. I think that okay, so before hip hop is like R&B, right? Soul music. They used to call it race music, right? Mm-hmm. And the blues from out in the Delta, Mississippi, very strong. The Mississippi had the Delta that produced the blues, and New Orleans had jazz music, right? So those kind of things. Well, jazz didn't merge with anything. It just migrated St. Louis on up into New York. Harlem Renaissance becomes the place where jazz music is kind of mass produced to the world. The Mississippi blues is where we find R&B. That's the B in blue. That's the B in R&B. And that type of soul music, that type of music that it's a mournful song that really comes out of the Black church tradition, right? The Black Christian church tradition. In fact, I believe his name was Thomas Dorsey, was the first, classified as the first gospel musician, right? But he was also a blues man. He was a blues man. I believe his name was Thomas Dorsey, and he became he took the sound of the blues and brought it into the church. So to answer your question, that's what we were listening to, kind of, I guess, R&B music and rock and roll too. When I was a kid in the 80s, I listened to Aerosmith, right? It was no kind of distinction, like you couldn't listen to white music. It just wasn't that. I don't think there was that distinction. Like we didn't listen to a whole lot of it, but I listened to Aerosmith. I listened to what's that other group? I listened to, I can't think of the names because we stopped listening to it. It became uncool, I guess, around you got to a certain age and they'd be like, oh, that's white music. You can only listen to this, and it keeps us in this little box of type of music we listen to. But I'm gonna let the Dr. DJ jump in. Maybe he can give us his opinion.
Well, I believe that anytime we had a genre of music that informed our people and mobilized our people and encouraged our people, there was another genre that came along to counteract that. So you go all the way back to spiritual music when you had slaves talking about freedom and talking about getting closer to God and stuff like that. Then jazz came along to counteract that. And then you had the era of the 70s when you had Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding in the 60s, late 60s and 70s, where it was talking about revolution and freedom, and especially during the Vietnam War era. Then you had disco to come in to counteract that. Now we have something called rap. It's a difference between hip hop and rap. Hip hop was started in 1974 in the Bronx, South Bronx. And it started off as a way to express yourself without violence. So you had rap groups, just like you had gangsters, you had rap groups that battled each other, but they battled each other using words instead of physical violence. And there was a whole culture behind that, with the music, with the graffiti, with the dress and everything, the language. It was a whole culture called hip hop.
Right.
Then in the late 80s, we had Public Enemy, we had Poor Righteous Teachers, we had KRS-One, Boogie Down Production, all that. And we was in the late 80s, early 90s, everything was Afrocentric. You had Do the Right Thing come out. You had the Malcolm X movie, Spike Lee was popping. And all of a sudden, there was a movement of young people, like you mentioned about Different World. That was during that era, Different World. You had a movement of Black people finding out about Africa. They started being aware about apartheid. And I remember when I was at Xavier University in New Orleans, we marched down Carrollton Avenue against apartheid. And it was a big movement of Black people trying to do positive things. And then this when rap started. They introduced NWA. NWA was created. Then you had an increase in lyrics that was talking about violence and talked about selling drugs and glamorized going to jail and those things. And so rap music changed towards the early 90s and mid 90s and got gradually worse. And beyond 2000 now it's considered rap. You don't really hear, it's not really considered hip hop, it's rap music right now.
Right.
And so at first, hip hop wasn't even considered music. Don Cornelius, when Soul Train, when people tried to get Run DMC and LL Cool J to come on Soul Train, Don Cornelius didn't like it because he didn't consider hip hop as music. And it wasn't designed to last. It wasn't designed to last more than just a few years, just like disco. Disco lasted 10 years maybe. And that's what that was the belief that hip hop was only going to last a few years, just going to be a fad and it's going to die off. But then hip hop became a multi-billion-dollar industry, starting with Run DMC. When they came out with My Adidas, Adidas went up tremendously. Everybody was rocking Adidas. And so white people started saying, okay, well, there's some money in hip hop. So now every commercial that you see now, you're going to see remnants of some kind of rap in it.
Yeah.
It's either going to be a beat or it's going to be lyrics or both. Rap music is a integral part of
American culture now.
That's the whole wide world.
Yeah.
You know, got people in Japan going harder than people over here. You know, in South Africa, I've been listening to AKA and Stogie T, I think. They great. The main difference I see with South African music is kind of is more toned down. It's not as bad as
violent. Right.
Yeah, it's not violent like our stuff. And so as a DJ, I don't really play top 40 music, the music that you hear on the radio. I play more underground. It's a lot of R&B artists, a lot of hip hop artists that have true lyrical talent and have a true talent that's not on the radio. That sound a lot better than what you hear on the radio. So that's the music that I normally bring out. And also, you know, some of the old stuff from the 90s and 80s and 70s and early 2000s. So
hey, Doc, you brought up such an interesting, first of all, thank you for that response. The entire response was phenomenal. But you brought up something very interesting that made me think as soon as you said it. I mentioned how the record industry took over hip hop and began to mass market it to the world, the most negative images that they could possibly conceive, right? However, there's something that happens prior to that. And you mentioned it. Don Cornelius on Soul Train rejected hip hop. They had black radio stations across the nation that used to say, I know locally for sure, but across the nation that used to say no backbeat. And no backbeat, like when you listen to the station, meant there's no hip hop on this station. We're only going to play R&B. They had two radio stations down here in New Orleans, Q93 and FM 98. FM 98 did not play. I don't even know if FM 98 plays rap now, right? If it does, it plays it at certain times, right?
Yeah.
But
WYLD, you got that right.
WYLD, FM 98. That's WYLD, right? So then WQUE was the station that played hip hop and R&B. So there was a rejection by black mainstream media that was when hip hop was actually positive, right? When hip hop was Run DMC, when hip hop was like LL Cool J, at least they were just having fun and partying. When hip hop was, X-Clan and even Public Enemy, right? Pro-black ideology and Pan-Africanism in music. It was like, oh no, we're not playing that. That ain't music. Our parents were like, that ain't music, right? So then when the white man scoops in and says, I can make $1 billion off of this, we know he's going to misuse it, and he scooped in. And so what I'm saying is there was a generation that missed an opportunity to be the gatekeepers of hip hop and what culture and what we produce for this culture, the type of music we produce for this culture. They rejected it initially. So when rejected, and these were, and I'm gonna tell you why, because hip hop came from the gutter. Hip hop came from everyday people. The same people that Sly Stone was singing about, hip hop was just a new generation of those. And a lot of respectability politic Negroes. We don't need our business out there in the street. We don't need them to know that we are really poor like that, because R&B singers didn't sing like that. R&B singers dressed in suits with afros or maybe curls, and they were singing about love. Every once in a while you get a good OJ song, right? Every once in a while you get a Marvin Gaye. But for the majority, for the most part, they were not singing politics. They were not singing everyday experiences. Hip hop came out, and they were talking about everyday experiences, and a lot of our people who could have controlled the narrative missed a great opportunity, and now we have no control over the narrative. Period.
Yeah.
I have a question. What industry increased when gangster rap increased? It's a multi-billion-dollar private industry that increased when gangster rap increased. What is that?
Prisons.
That's right.
Prisons.
Oh, I was gonna say arms sales, maybe.
No, that's
trafficking. I don't know.
A couple of them, but the legal one was prisons. Yeah, private prisons. As private as hip hop increased, the number of private prisons throughout the United States increased. Now you have places in Iowa, places in Wyoming who have like 2% black populations, and their largest black population, single black population, is their prison. Right. So wherever their prison is located, that's their majority black city. So, I mean, that's where we are, brother.
Yeah, may I come in there?
Oh, you guys see here? I'm sorry, Joe.
Sorry. I think, on your channels, you speak about South Africa and all that, and it's really nice to be hearing, and the way to be hearing you discuss the country from different perspective. Of course, you always approach it from the positive, which is a plus, which is a good thing, because we are filled with negative news every day. But then there's one thing that I just thought that maybe I would get your. Let me step back. I think one of the things that you always bring up is the issue of race, right? When it comes to your children and your family and all. How important is it, like, for you as a family in the decisions that you are making in terms of moving to South Africa and deciding where your future lies?
Man, I think it is almost. It's very important. I won't say it's central because.
How important is race?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I've been talking, Adrienne. I'll let you. I'll let you jump in, and then I want to let Doc jump in because Doc is also thinking of relocating, and he is also one of the people. When you hear me say, "Doc, do you mind me putting your business out there?"
Go ahead, man.
Doc is also married to a doc, right? So we're talking 2 doctors in the household. So these are the type of people who you would say, y'all are successful. Why would y'all want to leave America? Yeah, right? Yeah. But I'll let my wife answer that question.
I tend to be very quick in my responses, but I will say it is very important. And I think it's important because we're worried about, we have 2 young sons. We're worried about safety. Safety is very important. We want them to be in a place where they don't really have to deal with being in majority white environments, at least from my perspective, in order to access excellence, or in order to access resources, I should say. So I think it's important for me, but what I like about South Africa is it's still multicultural, right? So having spent time in West African countries or countries in East Africa, where it's not as multicultural, there's still others present, but there tends to, I should be careful, I don't want to generalize, but I just think that South Africa is the best transition
for us
on many levels.
Yes.
For us. And then I'm sure you're going to elaborate.
No, I'm going to let Dr. James elaborate.
Well, basically, I really don't have a problem with any race because I done got messed over by all of them. So I look at people as good and bad. But
I love that response.
But the thing about it is just our society is getting more and more violent, more and more way over to the left. They're trying to do too much over here. Over in South Africa, I felt a relief over there. Here in the United States, it's supposed to be the land of milk and honey and all that kind of stuff, but you really have to hustle hard to make it over here. It's a lot of stress, a lot of unnecessary stress that's put on the body that causes heart attacks and stuff like that. And so when I get over to South Africa, I feel more relaxed. I feel more comfortable. I can live a really nice lifestyle without killing myself trying to make it. And so I just think it's a better opportunity for my family and for my children. I just believe that our children should always do better than us, and I expect their children to do better than them. So I don't want them to have to struggle, and it's not wrong with working hard, but I don't want them to be working hard all their life, all the way up to 65, 70 years old. And by the time it's time to retire, their health is so bad, they're about dead, so they're not living life. So I want to be able to live life while I can and enjoy the rest of my life in South Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the doctor has actually provided a different answer compared to your wife, Dr. Asad.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has different.
The reason why, let me play the devil's advocate here, right? And it's just for the purpose of just, enriching our conversation, if that's all right.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, and no offense intended. I just think that it would enrich the conversation and make it a bit more profound. At least I hope so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Like I know like a number of people, who have moved to the United States, and they swear to never set foot on the continent again. At least to live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think a few years ago I read the statistic for success, the success of the, in inverted commas, ethnic minorities. I don't know if you call them that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the Asians. Well, the Asians seem to be a lot more successful in the United States, especially in terms of the technology and all that.
Mm-hmm.
My question is that why is it that they are able to succeed where the majority of us are not, majority of our people are not, and our people who are, I think, have been given this grace to be in the land of milk and honey, have struggled to overcome those challenges over the years. Whereas for me, it would appear that if we could also take over where the Asians, who are basically foreigners compared to an African American, is succeeding. I'm not so sure if I framed it correctly, but I hope you understood what I meant.
I understood exactly what you meant. The Asians coming over here getting paper, they doing good in school.
Not all of them, though.
Not all of them.
That's a myth. Sometimes there is definitely a segment of the Asian population that is doing extremely well. There's also large amounts that are in serious poverty too. But I'm looking that up while you.
Yeah, but I do know that that Asians have more wealth, I think, per more household income than white Americans. They're not wealth, income, more household income than white Americans, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm,
but so yeah, they're coming over doing well. They're coming to our, definitely coming to our communities now, set up stores, set up shops. That our Arab brothers and sisters do the same thing. I think there's many responses that can be given, and I guess it depends from your discipline. First thing I thought about was that they have a sort of cultural cohesion that and a lot of and within that culture, they're in different cultures. I mean, not just Asians and not just the Arabs.
East
Asians, yeah. They have a lot of cultural cohesion that I think a lot of that's missing in a lot of the African American community, and it's not by accident; it's by design. Certain things have been removed from our community, right? If you have nearly 70% of Black American households being headed by a single parent, mainly a single mother, there's a lot of stuff that's missing. The man is the worker, the man is the leader. Not that our sisters can't be leaders, right? But without that, there's certain problems. Without that, certain problems. Taking the father out of the household also takes uncles out of the family. It takes godfathers that we call. It takes big brothers and cousins. So a lot of this stuff is. So why are the Asians succeeding? I think because there's some cultural trauma. Why are the Asians succeeding over us versus African Americans? I think there's a lot of cultural trauma that African Americans have yet to address and heal and move on from. Number one. Number two, I believe that systemic racism has always targeted Black bodies, the Black body, right? Racism is not built against Asians, Hispanics, red, yellow, or whatever other kind of people. Initially, it is built against Black bodies. We are the victims. We are the reason for racism, right? And so systemic racism has victimized us in many ways, and again, re-traumatized us. So, and when we made strides, let's not act like we didn't make strides, right? We made some strides. There were efforts to destroy those strides. Everybody likes to bring up Black Wall Street, but throughout this nation, we built Black communities. Right here in New Orleans, there was the Claiborne Avenue overpass is a bridge. It's a great article on how the United States used infrastructure to destroy Black communities, right? Thriving Black communities. So here in New Orleans, there was a area town that had, hundreds of Black-owned businesses. And in those businesses, I mean, in that area, they had, middle-class Black folk who were profiting from the businesses that they had. So what did the United States government do? They built a highway overpass through that community, destroyed those businesses, right? And destroyed that community. So even when we have, and this didn't just happen in New Orleans, there's an entire history of using infrastructure to destroy Black communities in many ways. So, I mean, that's a very complicated answer. And the more I think about it as I'm talking out loud, it's so many things that so many reasons why African Americans have not seemed to thrive. And what I would say, finally, before my wife jumps in, is that even with all of the obstacles and impediments in our way, Black folk have managed to create Dr. James's and Dr. Asad, right? You see, and create even though Barack's father was from the continent, he came from us because it was our culture that he embraced and that he used and that he put on his back and got up there and sang Al Green and Amazing Grace and all that stuff. You know, he cloaked himself in African American Black culture. So yeah, we have been. There's a lot of roadblocks in our way, but we're still managing to strive. But to go back to Dr. James's point, Pearl Tusi, you know Pearl Tusi?
Yeah.
She's an actress, right? Yeah. She came and she stayed in the United States, I think, to do some movies and acting or whatever. She was on the MACD podcast, and he asked her, he said, man, you know, you were in the United States. Why didn't you stay over there? You know, that's the place that everybody dreams. She's like, it's a lot of money over there, but the quality of life in South Africa is way better. And I think that's what Dr. James was talking about.
I think we have to remember it's difficult to compare a select immigrant group to an indigenous group of people within a country. A lot of times your immigrant groups are your most highly educated. They're getting visas to fill sort of like very high skilled jobs like medicine and engineering and science. And also the majority of Asians in this country are Chinese. So I think that says something about being linked to a homeland that's doing extremely well economically. But if you start to look at this sort of, and I'm in public health, so we're always sort of looking at the subcategorization of data. But when you start looking at the different types of Asians, we know that East Asians are doing way better in this country than those that are coming on different types of visas, right? So if you look at our Filipino population here, if you look at our Vietnamese population here, in different parts of South Asia and things like that, you're going to see different levels of income, different outcomes, different levels of wealth. So, you know, I mean, people throw that out a lot, but when you really get into it, I mean, I think you have to be careful about comparing. So, I mean, if I go back to your country and I look at just overall these Asian countries, how well are people doing, you know, I think you're just seeing a skewed comparison.
Oh man, I see a lot of stuff going on in these. First of all, you guys want to join the conversation? Please click the link in the chat. But I see a lot of stuff going on in this conversation about FBA, Foundational Black Americans. I care nothing about that terminology. Let me just be frank and be clear. I don't dislike those people whoever want to subscribe to that terminology. That's fine. I've been an African American for 43 years, and I don't allow YouTube to influence my identity. Right?
Dr. Asad, before I go, one final question. I've got so many questions. I've watched so many of your videos, and
go ahead.
And this will be directed to you. You mentioned that you're a pastor's son, right? Or a priest's son, or a reverend's son.
Reverend son, Black Baptist reverend too.
Exactly as I am. Now,
okay.
Now, the question, my question would be, how did you move to Islam? I think in one of your videos, you did say that you will tell us, but you never came back to it.
Oh, tangential. It's definitely,
I've been clicking like, or maybe on this video.
So, all right. We got another brother.
Please, make us a promise that you were going to make a video on that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it to you right now. I just want to make sure I recognize the new brother.
Pilo?
Pilo?
No, there's not in there.
Oh, well, I thought I was repeating after you. Pilo. Okay. Well, let me tell you. So I think a lot of times people ask, what did my dad think about me becoming a Muslim? But you have to understand, in the Black community, Islam was considered the radical religion. If you are a pro-Black and a conscious person, at one point in time, you started looking into Islam. Malcolm X, right? Muhammad Ali, right? So Minister Farrakhan, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, these people were representing that Black radical tradition. And I was enticed by that. Now, they are part of an organization called the Nation of Islam. They are like Khalid Abdul Muhammad, but they're not Sunni Orthodox Muslims. So I'm Sunni, but they are the organization that enticed me, right? But I started reading the Quran long ago. I've never had that type of I was always able to compartmentalize. Okay, I'm reading the Quran. I'm reading the Bible. This is not going to influence me either way. But anyway, so why did I become Muslim? Is because I associated initially Islam with that radical Blackness that I am definitely associated with, right? And that conscious Blackness. Who doesn't watch Muhammad Ali and look at that strength that he has and say, man, I want to be like Muhammad? Who doesn't watch, as Dr. James talked about, when Malcolm X comes out, who doesn't watch the movie Malcolm X and then be like, man, I'm about to go out here and call a bunch of people devils. I'm about to. Who doesn't, right? But then I had a friend in university named Nasser, who was born Sunni Muslim. Now, his father came from the Nation of Islam. But in 1975, when the Nation of Islam was disbanded by Imam Wahid Muhammad, he moved everyone in that organization at that time into Sunni Islam. Then in 1978, Minister Louis Farrakhan broke away from that organization and resurrected the prior teachings of that Black nationalism teaching. So you had two sects of Muslims in the United States. You had that nation of Black Muslims. You had the Nation of Islam. Then you had these world community of Al-Islam in the West by Imam Wahid Muhammad. So Nasser was born a Sunni Muslim, but his father had converted from Nation of Islam to Sunni Islam. So he still had that Black consciousness there. And he was the one who introduced me to Sunni Islam and gave me my first Quran. And when I read the Quran and started studying, I actually went back to the Bible and I saw the Shahada. Do you know what the Shahada is? The Shahada is the declaration of faith in Islam. The Shahada is the declaration of faith in Islam. There's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Well, I saw the Shahada, at least part of the Shahada, written throughout the Old Testament. There's no God but God. This is something that the Hebrews would say throughout. And when I saw that, in my mind, it did not, the idea of the Trinity did not mesh well, because I came from the Christian church. So the idea of the Trinity did not hold up. If this is what the Hebrew Bible was saying, this is what the Quran was saying, then the Christian New Testament, there's some discrepancies. That's just my opinion. And I'll tell you quickly, I was one of those Muslims when I first converted. I was hitting everybody in the head. Dang, whatever you believe in is wrong. You better come and get this Islam. Blah, blah, blah. That's when you knew, your nose wide open. But now I've been a Muslim a very long time, and I have much more sense. I have much more sense now. I love my Christian family. I love my any Black person, or I love anybody, period. But any person whose religion is not a part of the Abrahamic faith. As they said in the movie Menace to Society, if that keeps you from breaking in my house, man, whatever it is that keeps you from breaking in my house, roll with it. I don't care. But anyway.
All right.
My brother
joining us. Thank you, Jonah.
All right, we got thank you, Jonah. Thank you, Jonah. We got SLK and we have Philo. SLK, you there?
Philo came on first.
Oh, Philo, what's going on?
Hi, family. How are you?
What's going on, brother? How you doing? He got a good spirit. You see coming on that smile?
Yeah,
I also like Brother James there. He's like, I don't know. So we need to raise the level here, right?
Yeah.
to raise the
Get that
standard.
energy up.
Yeah, I'm chatting the live chat. I'm checking the live chat. The guys are talking about tribes, and so on and so forth. We gotta raise the level.
Yeah.
Asad, like for instance, I followed you, and you've done your research about the country, certainly, and you keep on pushing. But on my side, what I'm going to ask is that, with your research, you have discovered that South Africans have, there's different classes. There's still people working themselves up, moving from middle class and building wealth, capital, and so on and so forth. And there's also people that are still living below the breadline. We need to be cognizant, especially the tone on the chat. I can really, identify the certain people that are not, I don't want to say in the same wavelength, but grappling on certain topics, and I could see it on the chat, on the chat box name, and we need to be cognizant of that, right? Especially this topic. I mean, honestly, when it comes to religion, I was born as a Christian. I studied in Lenasia South, which is an Indian school. It was there was Muslim and Tamil, Hindi, and so on and so forth. The government has worked so hard to, get us close. And I mean, us and Muslim in South Africa, we don't have. It's normal. It's a normal. You go to Soweto to the cemetery. In Soweto, the cemetery, there's a Muslim section and African section. So in South Africa, they've managed to cross the line. But you'll find, we shouldn't entertain people that are still pulling us backwards, coming with extremists. Africans don't like Americans. I mean, I grew up listening to Motown spinners from my uncles and all of that. We grew up, I know, you can talk about Gladys Knight and the Peeps, you can talk about all these Donna Summer, you can go backwards. We grew up with a thing. Umasikela, our legions were that side in the US and all of that. So let us not entertain guys that are still rural, man. We need to, man.
Man, there's a lot of, let me tell you, social media democratized information, right? It didn't democratize knowledge. Knowledge is quite different from information. You can have information, you can get information from anywhere. So you have now just out there a whole bunch of opinions and a whole bunch of ideas that are not rooted in facts. They're not, many of these opinions are ahistorical. Then, but because someone is able to get on a Facebook, they're able to get on YouTube, they're able to get on Twitter and just spew whatever they want out of their mouth. And because someone may like it, they continue to do it. If someone presses like, that like button is almost like crack. Once people start hitting that like button and people start getting likes, they'll continue to promote whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now we live in a society, and it's not just even Black folk. I took the children out to rugby last night with one of their majority culture friends, right? And their mom. And she and I were talking, and she is telling me about taking some weird drug for COVID and all kind of just strange stuff, because there's all of this stuff out, all of this information just out on social media. You need to, there's some kind of horse drug, and it was in the news, some type of horse drug she was taking for COVID or whatever have you, and her conspiracy theories on just a whole bunch of stuff. And because you go to a video and you see 20,000 people have viewed it, and you see all these comments, and that gives it credibility. Not that it's been peer reviewed. You see what I'm saying? Not that the information has been vetted by experts and professionals. It's just that this video has 20,000 likes and a lot of comments. This stuff must be true. That is where we are, right? As a researcher, the number one tool and key that you must have to be a phenomenal researcher is what? Skepticism. You got to be skeptical about everything. right? And that's what's lacking in these so-called, I call them internet intellectuals. I don't mean to be that credentialed Negro who is trying to act like I'm better than, but I do call them internet intellectuals, individuals who Google search everything, right? Who don't read, and then they Google what they want and get this confirmation bias and be like, hey, see, this article from 1983 says this. This article from this obscure this obscure website with misspelling, with words misspelled all over says this. So we have a lot of this taking place in not only the Black community, but in America as a whole. And I'm assuming any place with a lot of access to broadband, internet, and social media, and it's dangerous. It is dangerous. It's making people dumb. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, but by parting shots, one thing that I want to share with you, because I'm working for an American company, it's got offices in South Africa. And I had the luxury to the privilege to meet two African-American engineers, one from Chicago, Illinois, and another one from North Carolina. So, and what Dr. James said, there's a lot of, this propaganda that is being pushed around our people. I mean, I thought at some point, Black Americans were just in movies, music, rap and all that. Music, because, music, they're big, and I never thought, I will find professionals in engineering, but through corporate and, in engaging platforms like this, you start learning and unlearning. And this is the only way we go to manage to get around the system,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, brother. I want to get to SLK. I see you, brother. You have a sister. I don't know if it's a brother or sister, but SLK, you have a comment?
Yeah, you've been on a while.
Okay. He's on mute. What about Josie Gold?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
I can hear I don't know who.
Tembisa. Yes, brother. Hi, how are you, family?
Oh, I can hear Josie Go. How are you too? How are you, Tembisa and Josie Go? Let Josie will come right back to you. Let's go to Tembisa because she jumped in here. How you doing, Tembisa?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing? And your beautiful wife?
We're doing good. It's our anniversary. It's 13 years. Lucky number 13.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And hi, Dr. James.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
We're so happy that you're coming home. And we've been so mad. People like me, like that are Pan-Africanists. I used to ask myself that, okay, repatriation, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? Now I'm so happy that is all happening. I am so happy. We've loved you guys and you're like our big cousins. We looked up to you. We're so happy that you're coming home. Because to me, I see Africa with no borders. So I don't condone even xenophobia and other, because we know like within our South Africans, there are people with like enslaved mentality, but we're happy that you're all coming, that we're all gonna learn from each other. So welcome home and we love you very much, and Black love.
Thank you. So Black love to you too. I like her. Thank you so much. Thank you. You have a blessed day. Josie Gold.
Yeah, greetings, brother Asad and Adrienne. Look, I'd like to first congratulate both of you on your wedding anniversary. Look, I've been watching you guys for I think since last year, February. I really like watching you guys. You're very funny, Asad. So that's all I wanted to say. You're very funny. You look like you're very great people. I hope to meet you over here someday in Johannesburg.
Man, we'll be there in March, man. Let's link up in March. Shoot me an email and we'll definitely link up. I'm telling you.
I think we're gonna do a meetup.
We're gonna do another meetup. So when we were there in December, we met up. I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it's a Black-owned restaurant. I think it was in Bryanston, if I'm not mistaken. And we met up. We had about 15 people show up to the meetup. Hopefully this time we'll have more and we'll sit down and just break bread, and rub break bread. Huh?
Be careful what you ask for.
Right. I was thinking like I
could get 100 people.
More.
Oh yeah, well, I tell you what though, I love my people all over the world. Yeah. I love people all over the world, but specifically my people. And I think that I every day, y'all, if you watch this channel, you know I'm going to say it. The philosophical musician Sly Stone talked about what? Everyday people, because I'm everyday people. And I just like to be around my people. So I definitely look forward to meeting you, Josie Gold.
Yeah,
I think
one last thing.
Okay.
Well, can I say one last thing?
Go ahead, brother.
Look, I'm a general. I watch all your videos till the end.
And Brother James, he say you're a general.
Yeah, I heard him.
Brother James,
I watched some of your videos 3 times. So yeah, I'm
wonderful. That always amazes me. Yeah, because I got a short attention span.
Yeah, I know I'm tangential. I just moving on quick. I'll be like, all right, okay. Let me see if I can do this simple way or simple way.
Sippy way.
Girl, you can read well.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm respecting how we pronounce.
Okay, I think they. All right, SLK. Can you hear us? All right, I think they on.
Man, SLK.
I think SLK came on and went off.
And then came.
Can I say one last thing before?
Yes,
no one else.
Yeah, look, I have to commend Adrienne on her South African pronunciation.
Oh man.
Yeah, she's the best. She said some.
Hey, she's good at it.
She's the best. I don't know how she does it, but it's incredible. All right, thanks for having me.
So I said yes, you can pronounce it very well. So she's good at it. I don't know.
Like when you hear a language, you understand where people put their emphasis.
Yeah.
So it's like.
I think you have a gift, though. I do think you have a gift because
I can't speak.
I can hear people say their name and I still mispronounce it. So I don't.
You don't hear it.
I don't hear it. But you know what? This may be true because Adrienne can hear music well, like tone and stuff like that. And if y'all have ever heard me sing, you know it is murder.
Oh,
yeah, it's murder. I can't hear that.
I'm like, what is that?
I break all the stereotypes. You know, they say that Black people can sing and dance. I can do none of that. I can't play no sports. I can fight a little bit if that's a sport. You know? But I can't do all that other dancing and stuff. No, I can't dance. I can't sing.
Yeah, but every language has its rhythm, you know, so you just have to pay attention to the rhythm.
Yeah.
How would this be said in that rhythm?
Definitely.
Anyhow.
Well, I think I don't know if SLK, how you say it? Or you think you say it?
P-Way.
That
was my guess.
Audio issues, still sorting it out. Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Okay. Man,
take your time.
SLK, what's going on?
That's
no, it's a P-Way. SLK isn't. So we want to hear from you.
Oh, that was a P-Way. Okay. All right. Let me put the link back in the chat for those who want to jump on while our family sorts out this these audio issues. But I started off on the FBA stuff, and I don't want to leave it with a lot
of discussion.
Yeah, I don't want to leave it at that. So here's my take, and this will probably be the only time I address that situation. I think I've addressed it before, but I'll address it one more again. I think ADOS, right, who was headed by initially Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore. I think those are two intelligent people. I think making a distinction as it relates to our justice claim against the United States of America for reparations. I have written extensively on reparations. I can link my article, right, on reparations. So I do agree that African Americans need reparations. I do agree that a justice claim must be made against the United States government for those reparations. And I do believe that reparations are a part of the descendants of slaves, those of us who are descendants of slaves in the United States. We have a claim against this government, right? When the 13 colonies broke away from Great Britain, they inherited the debt of Britain. When they purchased the Louisiana Purchase from France, they inherited that debt from France. So France initially owed Black people, right? The Britain initially owed Black people. When they formed this nation by breaking away during the American Revolution and purchasing in 1802, 1803, or whatever the Louisiana Purchase, they purchased that debt. So now the United States owes Black people. So I don't see anything wrong with specificity, saying that we are this group and we want this as it relates to a justice claim, as it relates, let's be clear, as it relates to the justice claim of reparations. We are this group, we deserve reparations. Similarly, there are a South African family right now, to make it clear what I'm saying, the South African families right now who are fighting for land, how do you call it? Land reappropriation, I believe. Well, they land claims, right? The colonizers have this land, right? And they're saying, no, we need this land back, okay? Right. I have no place in that argument. I mean, I'm for my people in South Africa who are saying they want their land back, those everyday people, I'm with them, but I don't have no place standing in line trying to get some land from the colonizers. They didn't take land from Asad. They took land from the indigenous native South Africans, right? So there's a justice claim that indigenous native South Africans have. And I believe that we can have specificity with solidarity, right? These justice claims are not opposed to a Pan-African ideology, right? When Barbados is seeking to break free from the Queen, right? And then eventually, I would assume, they're going to be then demanding some payment from being subjects and enslaved and colony for so long. They have that right to make that justice claim. And the solidarity comes in is when I stand next to them and say, y'all have this right to make this claim. I want y'all to get it, just like I want us to get it in the United States. Now, what I don't like about ADOS, what I actually hate about ADOS is the xenophobia. Let's be clear. They point out, oh, African immigrants are coming into the United States. It's 5 million African immigrants in the United States. There are literally 40, 50 million of our Hispanic brothers and sisters who come in. It is not even a logical argument that the ADOS makes. That's when you know it is xenophobia. That's when you know it is rooted in some type of deep-seated self-hate as it relates to these arguments about African immigrants coming into the United States. African immigrants ain't taking jobs away from Ray and them working construction. It is Hector and Manuel that's taking jobs. And if we even want to use that language, like taking jobs, if we want to use that language, that itself may be a little bit dangerous. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
But so what I'm saying is that ADOS, treads in this type of xenophobia that is just dangerous. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture said this: we do not have enough power to fight ourselves and our enemies. We do not have enough power to fight ourselves and our enemies. We do not have enough of us to divide ourselves and then fight our enemies, right? We need unity worldwide as Black people, as Africans and the Africans in the diaspora. So the xenophobia in ADOS is just dumb. I don't think Yvette Cornell is a dumb person. Not at all. I think she's pretty smart. I think she miscalculated with the xenophobia. And if you pay attention to her, she has backed away. She said, oh no, that wasn't right. She's backed away from that. But it's far too late because we live in the age of social media where anybody can pick up on something, misuse an idea and run with it. So now it's all over social media. Now it's all over YouTube. But let's be clear. There are 40 million African Americans in the United States, Black people in the United States. If you walk up to 39.8 million of them and ask them about ADOS, they're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? Don't nobody know what those people are talking about. And I'll give you a prime example. Yvette Cornell was on a live on YouTube, and this is sad because we probably got nobody on here, but Yvette Cornell was on a live on YouTube, right? She's a leader, founder of ADOS, and Kevin Samuels was on a live. Yvette Cornell had 2,000 people on her live. Kevin Samuels had 70,000. Think about it. Kevin. Kevin talking about, relationships. Kevin has 70,000 people. No one knows. The average African American doesn't know anything about ADOS or FBA. Yeah. That's YouTube and banter. That's just all a very small portion. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Raise his hand.
Your hand up. Are we?
Well, we got
my favorite people. Hello.
Here we go.
My favorite people.
Finally.
What's going on, brother?
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm just happy that your wife Asad has managed to stay with you for 13 years. Achievement. Anyway, anyway, I just love your passion when you talk about xenophobia, and I also feel the same way, and specifically for South Africa and African people.
Yes,
we are hard on telling Zimbabweans that they're taking our jobs, and those more often are not are jobs that we don't want. But we hardly ever go to white employers and complain that they employ these people below the agreed minimum salaries. And also the same foreigners as well, they need to understand that there are minimum salaries legislated in this country. They should not be taking these jobs at lower than that, because that's where the conflict starts. And my people as well, when they employ people as house help and all that, they pay below minimum and most minimum wages. And most people, more often than not, those people are from the rest of the continent. Mm-hmm. Anyway, to the Americans, being an American does not equal to having skills. So any American comes to South Africa and says he brings skills, please, man, please. And I remember in one video you said people bring $500 here and want to live like kings. Brother, amen, amen, amen. And that's the story. Yeah. One last two things.
Go ahead.
There's a new thing. There's a new thing about land claims and visas that now Americans must be given special privileges. No, man, please. You either you cannot have benefits on both sides. Remember, you always say one thing that you guys have is the American dollar and their strength. So if you come here with that, and then you got given free land and all that, is that why you want to bring the 500? No, please, guys. If you have skills, as you say, come and toil the land like everybody else. You have the strength in the dollar. You welcome in this country, as you know. Come and work. You show us what you can do because you have skills. Remember?
Right.
Tata. Thanks a lot.
Right. That's it.
Nice show as always.
Thank you, brother. So, yeah. So I think was he saying that some people. What was he saying? Because
I mean, so he said lately he's been hearing about people saying that Black Americans should have privileges, a certain citizenship or visa privileges and free land. And he was saying, you say you're coming with skills, bring the skills.
Right.
And then you have the dollar,
right,
which is also an advantage in South Africa. So should you be getting be able to bring that dollar as well as have free land on this side as well?
No. You
can I say something to that?
Yes.
White people didn't have to bring anything. They didn't even have skills to bring, when they came in 1652.
Oh, that's a whole different conversation. Lord have mercy, y'all.
So
wow, sister, y'all. Look, let me say this. I agree with you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Okay, because if some African countries sold Africans to slavery, I think we have to compensate them in somehow, we cannot just be, because coming to Africa, for you to see that we really welcomed you, we have to give you a little piece, because if white people in South Africa are occupying a majority of the land, and your issue has to be debated. I don't know. That's how I'm thinking.
So let me say this. First of all, both of these comments are strong. They strong. SLK.
SLK came with the fire.
Yeah, I mean.
He said, nah.
Yeah. And here's my hot take. First of all, Black folk in America didn't come from South Africa. We came from West Africa. So how could we put that on South Africans?
I'll answer you. First of all, brother, Africa was one who created the borders.
The white man, you're right.
Because even South Africans, the place of origin is not really South Africa.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we found like the Khoisans in South Africa.
Africa, yeah, right.
So that's another debate.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I
So
that's an interesting point too. But here's my I know I don't want to say a but because Stevie Wonder said but is asking for permission to lay something heavy on one's mind. But I'm not trying to ask for, I'm not trying to say but and as a conjunction that's going to negate what you said. I do believe that if there's a justice claim on the continent for Black Americans, it would be in Ghana, it would be in Nigeria, it would be in those areas where we can probably more directly trace our lineage. However, the problem with saying I'm going to go to Ghana and ask for land, I'm going to go to Nigeria and ask for land, is that Ghana was founded in 1958 or 1950, or 1958, I think, or 57. Nigeria is founded in the 60s, maybe 60, 61. I got to get my dates together. These places, again, are colonial borders, right?
That's my thing, because maybe I'm still backwards, because to me, I don't see any borders that were created by a colonizer. I refuse.
Right. Well, that's interesting.
Well, you may not, but they will exist, and there are some laws around.
Yeah.
And
I know, and who created the laws? Who created the laws? Again, and that's why I'm saying we've got like different perspectives on this. That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah, but for me,
can I add something quickly?
Yeah.
Can we also give land to the Nigerians and Zimbabweans and Botswanians and everybody from the continent, free land as well? Just to
okay, can I answer to that? Don't they have like a land already? Because you said Nigerians, then that means that they are from Nigeria. They've got a land in Nigeria. Now we're talking but now that we're talking okay, go ahead.
South Africans don't have land even though they're in South Africa. So it doesn't automatically mean when you're a Nigerian, you've got land. So just like people in South Africa, like Asad rightly spoke about land claims that are going on. Not because that you are South African, you have land. So can we also give land to Nigerians and everybody who doesn't have land?
In South Africa, that doesn't make sense. Why don't they get a land in? Because now we're talking about African Americans, because they don't belong in Nigeria. They don't belong anywhere. Even in America, they don't belong. So we're not talking about Nigerians here, my brother. Because now that's another topic. If you're telling me that can we give Zimbabweans, they can get a land in Zimbabwe. We're talking about African Americans. I think that was the topic. I don't know.
Okay, let me talk about Asad and Adrienne. They've got their pensions and they pay tax in America. They've got a house in America. So it's not because they don't. It's not like they don't have land.
Oh, okay.
They do have land but they believe they do not come from there. They want to come to Africa where they believe their ancestors come from. So there is the fallacy that Black Americans don't have land must be buried. It is not like that. They do have land.
So the land that they pay for, you call it the land?
I don't understand. You're saying the land that they're paying for. I don't understand. For it to be called land is land. It's because it's land, isn't it?
It's not their land. I'm telling you now, it's not their land. Because if Black people are being killed, can I?
Sure, my sister.
Yeah, if they're being killed, some of us, it affects us, because me, I'm a survivor. I was coached into being a freedom fighter at 12 years old. I was building petrol bombs. My dad was crazy like that. So when I see whatever is happening in South Africa, I know maybe what I'm saying is not logical, but we need them. If they don't need them, we need them. They're part of us, So yeah.
So can I have my last say? Last
go ahead, brother.
I promise you, I'm not going to say anything after this. Okay. There are people being killed in Mali right now. There are people being killed in the DRC for land. So when you give land to Americans because they are being killed, I want the same courtesy to be
That's
expanded
not
to
the
people.
Same, though.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Okay,
can I finish what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said this is my last sentence. If we're saying Americans are being killed, Can we give the people that have been killed in the continent the same benefits? The people
Can I
that
answer
are being
now?
killed.
Can I
Can
answer?
I finish? Can I finish what I'm saying?
Whoa.
That's okay. Go ahead and finish, and then
So some Burki somewhere would say he's been killed in South Africa as well. We should be given land. So that whole sort of way of thinking doesn't hold. All I'm saying, Americans have got land. They choose to come. They want to come back from Africa because there is an inner thing that they're going through. The fact that they're being killed does not negate the fact that they've got land. But thank you. I'm out. I don't want this to be my thing or somebody's thing.
Yeah, okay.
You are thank you very much.
You are minimizing it to say that it's just the thing that they're going through. It's bigger than that. And if you are in Mali, you fighting for the land is different. Because in America, you're fighting for your color, just for being black. But if I'm in South Africa, I'm fighting for the land. I'm fighting for my land and in my continent, in my country. I'm done. That was my last comment.
Boy, y'all got deep over here, boy. You know, we laughing and playing on the Asad and Adrienne show. Yeah, but that's good. But since we have gotten deep, let's go on and dive in. Yeah, let's go and dive in. Our justice claim as African Americans, those who owe us, the entity that owes African Americans is the United States of America. That's who our justice claim goes against. Whereas we can make arguments for land, I'm not even getting into that type of conversation, right? I appreciate the sister, I appreciate the brother, but our justice claim for reparations is with the United States government. If they cut that check, we can buy land wherever we want. If they give us what they owe us, we could buy land wherever we want. We can come back and invest in Africa. We can go and be like what's it, Dubai, and make us our own little land out in the desert, out the water somewhere. If they give us what they owe us, my claim would never be to sit up here and bicker with my brothers or my sisters over something like that. When my justice claim is against the European white man in the United States of America who enslaved my people for centuries, and on top of enslaving them, they redlined them and robbed us of our wealth through our homes. They Jim Crowed us and mass incarcerated us for the last century and a half. That's what my justice claim is against. Again, to go back to what Kwame Ture said, we do not have the power to fight each other and fight our enemies. We don't. So I will not get into the politics of South Africa in terms of who can get land. I'm not asking for land. I bought my land in South Africa. You see what I'm saying? My claim is against the United States of America, right? For Black Americans who are saying that the continent owes us land, I think you're gonna have to give me a better argument. What I would prefer is not necessarily land, but an ease of transition in terms to maybe residency, citizenship, right? That stuff is more important to me than saying, give me some. I'm not walking around, listen, we in the worst condition ever in the United States as Black people in America, and still I don't walk around looking for anybody to give me anything. I know that closed mouths don't get fed, and I know that idle hands don't get bread. You understand what I'm saying? You got to go out and work. You got to go out and get it. So I'm not looking to go to another country and say, man, you owe me this. Or can you give me some land? No, man, if I want to repatriate to the continent, I'm saying, will you please make it easy for me to come, maybe get a residence. So that's why a lot of people are going into Rwanda, because you can start a business and get residence. That's why a lot of people are going into Tanzania, because you get multiple entry visas, or you can learn Swahili and get to stay there for a while. That's why people are going into the Gambia. That's why people are going into Ghana, because Ghana has somewhat created a pathway to citizenship, and South Africa has a pathway to residency or whatever have you. So we appreciate those things, but asking for your land, asking for checks or handout, I'm asking the person who victimized my people, who had my uncle walk down the street with his head down, who has a PhD, my uncle has a PhD in chemistry, but as a young man, when Emmett Till got killed, he had to walk down the street with his head down because white folks told him not to look white people in the eyes. That's who owed me a check. That's who owed my people. That's who owe Black people in America is the white man in the United States of America. The United States government owes us. So I will not even divide our justice claim worldwide. We got to focus on them, right? We got to focus on getting our check from them. And maybe we'll go to France later. And maybe we'll go to Spain later because they had a little role too, right? But right now it's for the United States of America. And that's just where I'm at with it. And yeah, I mean, yeah.
And there is a reality that many African governments are dealing with high levels of poverty in their own countries. For you to come in and say, well, I need this, I need this. That's not my claim. That's not my claim. It's a little bit of, you know, I can't see it. I think I don't want to disparage anyone for their opinion. But again, I think that people opine, right? Without a lot of evidence, without a lot of well thought out, you know, they don't think that thought all the way through a lot of times. But that's just my opinion. Like, and I could be wrong. Like somebody could make a claim that's really true, but I just don't see it. I'm not going to go to any nation and demand land from that nation, even especially if I can't prove that my ancestors came from that particular area or whatever have you. But I think that's getting so deep into the woods for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. And this is just, I mean, other people personally may have a different experience, but when I was in Mali, I mean, we would get in the van to go out to the research site, which is out in the village. And when we were in the city at the time, but there would be little children coming up to the van looking for something to eat. I mean, just crowds of children. It just feels weird for me to be coming demanding land and citizenship when I know this government is dealing with a lot. I don't know.
Somebody's talking about, the brother in this chat is saying about, yep, land is another issue. Open visas. Yeah, that's, see, lesson is on. Let me see, what can see? Okay,
Brother
cool. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. J, I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm thinking that the overall point the brother was trying to say is that as African Americans, we cannot come over there with a savior mentality or needing to be saved mentality.
There we go.
We can't go over there asking for land. Now, if they're giving away land, I'm taking it. I mean, I'll take it, giving it.
Demanding it.
I ain't demanding no land.
I'm not demanding land, and I'm not going there saying, okay, I'm from America. I got skills. I'm Dr. James Bennett, and I'm not going to go over there and say, well, this is how you need to do stuff, because that's their country. It's not our right to come over there and try to tell them what to do. And then another thing, I can't come over there with $500 and move my whole family over with $500 and expect the government to take care of me or beg for a job and all that kind of stuff. If you have something to add to the country, you need to bring your skills and do that. But don't come in with the mentality that you're going to take over or the mentality that you need to be taken care of.
Right.
My thing is, I'm coming with the mentality of show me how to live life, because I'm existing in America. I'm not living in America.
Right.
I'm living and enjoying my life in America. But over in South Africa, I'm seeing people different economic statuses. They're just actually living life. Every Friday they have cooler box. What other nation? I don't know any other nation that on a Friday, everybody just chilling and interacting with their family and interacting with friends and Bobby doing bri and all that kind of stuff. I don't know any other country that does that. So that's, to me, that's living. That's enjoying that's enjoying life. And I believe if you enjoy life, you live longer. But if you're persistent and striving and fighting and hustling day in and day out, that tends to, having a poor life, you're going to end up with a poor standard of living and physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah, man. So I agree with you, Doc. You can't go over there begging, and you can't go over there thinking that you're about to save anybody. I said it plainly before, we're trying to save ourselves, right? We're trying to escape a condition in which we are oppressed and the environment is making us sick. We're being worked to death, as you mentioned, right? So we're trying to go to a place where we could has some reprieve, right? A sabbatical, a place where we can not just exist, as Dr. James said, but to live. So that was beautifully put. But again, I'm not begging anybody for land. Or again, I would appreciate from every African nation. I know that we are part of the sixth region of of Africa, I think it's called, the diaspora. I would appreciate a easier path to long-term residency in places for African Americans, maybe certain stipulations that they could put in place. Hey, so that you're not going to come and be a burden on a particular country or a particular society. But I would appreciate that. But in terms of our specific justice claim, in terms of who owes us, and what I am looking for is the United States of America to cut the check. Dr. King said in his I Have a Dream speech that we came to Washington, D.C. for a promissory note that has returned insufficient funds, right? So I want that check cut. Let me let in Brother Warren Green. I want that check. And if the government cuts the check, again, we can go anywhere. We can invest anywhere, right? But in the meantime, we have to focus our claim on the United States government, man. SLK, and how we pronounce the sister's name again? Tambisa. Thank you guys, because this was very much. Thank you for bringing this conversation up. And Tambisa, I really want to know. I love your spirit. I love what you're saying, and I believe you're coming from a very, very good place. And part of me wants to say, yeah, you're 100% right, but I don't think that I can make that claim. I don't, here's where I'm coming. I appreciate the South African family for the love you guys show. I tell you that every video, for opening your doors and opening up your hearts. We are going to bring what little we have to help, what little we have what skills we have to maybe find our place in South Africa, right? I'm not coming to South Africa while there is a real land claim going on and asking the Republic of South Africa to give me land, right? I believe that, I believe that I would rather ask the United States of America. If you go to the final call of the Nation of Islam, there's their newspaper. If you go to the last page of the final call, it has been asking for land in the United States, Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama since 1934, right? So if I was going to if I was going to demand land from anybody, I'm demanding land from the people who took land from us when we had Black farmers in Mississippi, when we had Black farmers in Alabama, right? And they came in and robbed us of our land and put all kind of tricky laws in place and took lands from our grandfathers and our grandmothers. And now Black folks used to be major farmers. Now we don't own any farmland, right? If I'm going to demand land, I'm going to demand it from the people who keep destroying us, who's proven to be our open enemy for the last 3.5 centuries. I'm sorry, I keep getting emotional. Brother Warren, what you got to say? All right, Brother Warren. I don't know.
Brother Asad.
Yeah.
Hey, the comment about, African Americans having land, most of us, we don't.
We don't.
Most African Americans are renters. And then the ones that are so-called home owners, they don't own the land. The bank owns the land until they pay it off.
Right.
So, and then a lot of the laws in certain states, you might own the land, but you don't own the mineral rights. So you really don't own the land. So I think it's a myth that we own land. Very few African Americans own land. And then even in Mississippi, we have some people that did own a couple of 100 acres of land, and a big development came along and offered them $100,000, and they took it. And then that 200 acres of land ended up becoming a multi-million-dollar complex or mall or business center, and they basically bought it for pennies on the dollar, for the person who originally owned it. And so we're the only people that really don't own anything. You go to New York.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I went to New York one time, and I saw the Bank of China. I saw Hebrew Bank. I saw African Bank. I saw Russian Bank. You're not going to see an African American bank in New York City.
Right. So brother James, my great aunt owned what is now came to be Colfax, Louisiana. Well, a part of Colfax. Colfax existed as a city, but as it expanded, they expanded onto her land without question, proof, or permission. They just expanded onto her land. Land that eventually became like they put like City Hall on her land. They jacked her land, and when she died fighting, suing the city of Colfax because they jacked her land. Right.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain, and eminent domain means you're supposed to be compensated. They didn't even compensate the system. Right. So this is where we are with this type of stuff in terms of I'm trying to get. Oh, SLK, you got something to say, brother? I see your hand raised. Or was that from before?
Yeah, I was just saying to Dr. James, same thing about minerals here. You can own the piece of land you live, but what's underneath it's owned by the government or state in this country. And when you talk about bonds, similar experiences. And obviously our landlessness and their claims are well documented. I'm saying we're the same as you guys, don't worry. And when I say land, I'm just saying those opportunities that you can have a bond or and buy a house, pay it over whatever time, that type of thing. We're the same in that way.
Yeah.
Well, many African countries have laws where you can only do long-term leases on land.
Right.
That you never just own it outright as a private citizen.
Right.
Right. So.
And then, you know, the idea of owning land is a very Western European thing too, but we can get into that later. You know, the idea of land ownership is very Western European, but we are now have adopted it. So let's, you know, go on and roll with it then, since that's what we are. Brother Warren, can you hear me? I think Brother Warren.
Yeah, brother, can you hear me?
I got you. What's going on, Brother Warren? Warren G.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm just listening. This is again, as Africans globally, we should have this conversation and talk it out, because I agree with kind of what the sister's saying about. I mean, we have to start thinking global Africans. The continent, not just the 53 colonialized states that was set up for us. So, as I agree in the short term, no, this is not a question yet, but it is something we need to consider down the road as we become world powers like a China, like a India, like a Europe. We're going to have to unify as Africans to be put on that same level. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, you know, thank you, brother. You know, I wonder, oh, Aiden, what's going on? My son is up, y'all. So if y'all hear us looking around and see us, yeah, that's my baby boy. He up and he's grabbing potato chips for breakfast.
We're on here.
But you all ready to go? So
I brought him something. I wanted to show him that I brought him that.
He got what he wants.
Okay.
So, but you know, I think I think it's a good statement, Brother Warren. You know, I guess maybe in the future. My question is this: like for and nothing compares to what has happened to Black Americans and African Americans in the diaspora, meaning Jamaicans and our Colombian brothers and sisters, our Brazilians, and all those and Black Americans, Black folk in Central and South America who came via the Atlantic slave trade, transatlantic slave trade. So there's really no comparison. I was about to ask a question about the Chinese diaspora. You know, do they automatically get land in China, or do they, you know, when they know they can directly link themselves back to China? But again, nothing compares. But I think for us, this will probably be our first and last time having such an in-depth conversation like this on this channel, because I think, as Warren admits, you got to have these conversations, and you do. But I don't know if YouTube is a platform in which you have the conversation. Nor do I know if it's. I think we should have. There's a reason why there are experts. There's a reason why they're historians. There are reasons why they're scholars. You know. And I'm not a scholar on this subject. I've got an opinion on it. So I think those who are scholars should come together and have this discussion. But I am a scholar on reparations, and I know where that claim goes. That goes to the United States of America. And I'll say it loud one more time. If the white man cut my check, You ain't got to worry about where I'm gonna buy land. I might buy land all over Africa. I might buy me a summer home in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, several homes. What's the how you the scalies? How you say it? What? As a part of Africa. It's on the continent.
Seychelles?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Haley.
Haley.
What is it called? Seychelles. Yeah, Seychelles. I might buy me something out there. Yeah.
Got like toenail disease. I got
scabies.
As smart as I thought I was, I only found out about it about like 2 days ago. I was like, oh wow, what is this place? I never heard of this. But family, it has actually been 2 hours of great conversation. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. So let's kind of lay some ground rules. I don't want to tell anybody what to say, but I just don't like a whole lot of arguing amongst family. Disagreement is one thing, discussion, debate, but arguing is not what we need to do. And it's not what I like to promote on this channel. I like for us to be talking about, man, how can we work together? How can we get together? We talk about similarities and laugh and have us a good time. I know that a lot of these social media conversations lead to just this contentious back and forth between people. And, that's not really my vibe. I learned a long time ago that Drake called them Twitter fingers. All this Twitter fingering and all this type of stuff, man, we don't need to do that. I mean, like, I would prefer us to discuss maybe solutions, or discuss similarities, or if we're going to have debate and discussion, let it be respectful. I'm not going to say that anyone has gotten disrespectful. I haven't seen, and you have over 100 in YouTube. I see that, and I know I've seen 100. I've seen 100 of my Phi Beta Sigma brothers get together. We ain't argue with each other. I've seen two, three. I've seen us at Conclave, thousands of us. We didn't argue with each other. We were there together to build for one cause. So because you have 100 people together doesn't mean that arguments, discussions, and disagreements are the order of the day. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody. Oh, and that was a direct message to me. I'm sorry. Well, I didn't say no name. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. This has been a good discussion. I think I didn't even get to our second video. We had a good video we talked about Jabari, but then the next video we had was with the Unapologetic Nomad. So I just want to make sure I give them a shout out for being on the channel. And it's so late in the game, man. It's 2 hours, man. I can't believe I slept like that.
I watched that video twice.
Yeah. Brother, now, isn't that amazing? A family, this family is touring around the world with their 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I thought it was great.
I often look at my children. I have a 9-year-old and 11-year-old who just took some chips and wiped them on I just saw him and wiped them on the couch, wiped his hand like this, like it was. But anyway, I think, wow, man, when my children are 21 and 22 years old, and after having lived in South Africa, after having traveled the world too, because we've taken them a few places, just how different they will be. There's such being here in the United States, there's a lot of confinement and a lot of shrinking of ourselves to fit in certain kind of boxes, right? And I think just having them have this opportunity to I don't know, like be free, that sounds weird, but to live a different experience is going to be just truly amazing. I really look forward to it. And
it was always a goal of mine to have worldly children who understood, like, you can get out. If the US is not it for you,
you gotta be careful, because worldly in a
not in the religious sense,
right?
Children
we gotta make sure specificity.
Yes.
But that 15-year-old young lady, she's on another level, because the average 15-year-old here is thinking about Cardi B and Twitter and Snapchat and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And her mindset is on such a higher level because she has those experiences. It's going to benefit her now and later. But it's going to be hard. It's hard if she come back to the United States and try to talk to the average 15-year-old, she would feel out of place because she's on another level.
I hope she never comes back to the United States. I hope she may come and visit, but I wouldn't want it because let me tell you, and this is a very interesting conversation. Oh man, and I think Warren G can attest to this. I think he was still there. Warren G, brother Greg, a brother named Dr. George, and another brother, I forget his name, but we all met in Dan Fern Golf Estates, and we were having dinner. And the other brother actually had been he's African American brother from New York, but he had been living in South Africa 25 years, right? And his children were actually born in South Africa, but they are technically African Americans because both of their parents are African Americans, so they have United States citizenship. But they got South African accents, right? They grew up in South Africa. They decided to go to university in the States. And the brother said, man, my children left. I think they might be twins. And he said they left and they had to learn to be Black. And I know what that meant. You had to come back here and start fitting yourself. They had to fit themselves into that box again. They had to live up to the low expectations, the soft racism of low expectations, right? As coined by George Bush, right? They had to just deal with that idea that they're supposed to be a certain way, because they are Black folk. You know what I'm saying? In South Africa, they were free to be individuals. Here, they had to fit themselves back into these categories and catalogs, right? So I hope that sister comes to visit, but I hope she never has to come back and fit herself into these boxes again. I think free Black people are what we need, and free to be individuals, free to think for themselves, free to have their own ideas, and free to think outside of the box, outside of the category, outside of the catalog. So I want her to be around the world, and I hope my children will join her and move around the world, you know? Whereas South Africa, I want it to be their base, but I definitely want them to move around and see other parts of the world and come back and tell me about it. So once you go back to Africa, you can't go back. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dr. James, you remember we were sitting down having dinner and I asked you, when you got back on the plane, did you feel, and you cut me off and you said, I didn't have to finish it, depressed. Yeah. Man, once you leave out of this rat race, man, it's so hard to go sit back in these offices and people be talking to me. I just be looking at them all funny. Like, man, you know I don't want to be here talking to you, man. You know, it's just, I can't wait to get back. It was not until I booked my ticket in March that I started to feel better. I was like, oh, okay, well, I got a ticket. I'll be back in March. I go and get my little hit right quick and and try to make it through June, you know, man. But yeah, it's 11:10. I thank y'all. I think it's 2 hours and probably 2 hours too long. So thank everybody. And anything you want to add, my baby? I know I've been running my mouth. God, my tongue tied. And we got to go and get ready for this whole anniversary. Lord,
hey.
Yeah, get together, Dr. James.
Yeah,
get ready for this whole anniversary.
No, man. No, listen. My mama's birthday was yesterday. It's a chill out Sunday. I have nothing to do. Go on at least another hour.
He can.
Yeah, I probably can too. Boy, y'all should see what I be teaching. I teach this little conversation class. Well, I don't do it anymore. But you teach comic Tuesdays and Thursdays. No, Mondays and Wednesdays it was, man. Boy, I just talk for hours and people just head just be hurting. It's like I wish this Negro shut up. But yesterday was my mama's birthday. My mama turned 83 years old yesterday. 83 years old. So we kind of got to celebrate both. We had to go see her yesterday. for her birthday, but it was such a short period. We were only there for like 30 minutes because the kids had this rugby play date, right?
Mhm.
So I want to go see her and celebrate her life. And then I want to take my wife to Burger King for our I'm gonna let her supersize it. You heard me? You want a milkshake? You want cheese on that?
Hey, bro, you keep on, man. You're gonna be looking bad later on tonight.
You're gonna make it the 14th.
Oh man. All right, family. Y'all have a good one, Brother James, man. Look, we be on a text message. I'll see you on the text, and I will see you there in March, man.
Word
I
up.
can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Y'all have a good one, man. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we out.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey,
Good night.
hope you ain't messed up, bro.
Huh?
I hope you ain't messed up.
If y'all don't see no more videos for like 2 weeks, because I gotta let my eye heal up.
We just leave it on the couch.
Goofy.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Okay.
All right.